Hello. Let's talk about how you get started. Um, so you've done the research, you've watched the videos, you've listened to the all the big names on YouTube. Let's see, who is it? Dr. Paul Saladino, or Dr. Oh mercy, there's so many. There's Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Oh, that one that's an ortho surgeon. He's a cutie patootie too. He's big in bodybuilding. Sean Baker. So you've listened to all the people. You've listened to all the right people. You've watched other videos. You've watched my little weird channel. What do you want to start? What do you need? Well, what do you need is simple. A skillet. That's what you need. A skillet. This, you can make bacon, you can make eggs, you can make steaks, you can make pork chops. You just need a skillet and probably a stock pot. I do use my stock pot for when I have large quantities of ground beef, and whenever I cooked that ground beef and liver, I use it. What else do you need? I'm talking need. If you're somebody who wants to make your own bone broth, then you might want a crock pot. But I have no Instapot. I have no air fryer. You don't need a lot of gadgets. You need the stove top. Where's my finger? Here, I'll do it that way. Stove top and the oven. And that's what you need. Sorry, I need some lotion. My hands are dry, but this is some old stuff. I think I might have to trash it. But anyway, you just need a cooking vessel. That's nothing fancy, nothing hardcore. That's what you need. If you drink coffee, of course, you're a coffee maker. But I'm looking around, and that's really the only things that I use. And like I said, you'll see some people using an air fryer because they don't meal prep. I'm not going to sit there and make 5-6 pounds of steak in an air fryer and go, okay, here's this section and this section. Not whenever I've got a good old skillet and I got 2 or 3 of them, so I can cook a bunch at one time. So for me, that's what I do. So that's the actual, you might want one of these kind of jobbers for mushing your ground beef. That's a pretty handy dandy tool. And something to scoop the ground beef out, and you can leave the grease behind when you're first starting out, because when I first started out, that extra fat kind of made me like, I was in the bathroom a whole lot. But anyway, so those are the actual types of utensils I use. Then for my coffee, I use my collagen. I'm looking at the stuff. I use ghee, and you may want ghee and butter. Well, you're going to want something to cook in. You can use your bacon grease. I do that a lot. As far as supplements, they talk about electrolytes a lot, which is, for me, my potassium. This is my version. This is what I use for potassium. No salt. Because the potassium tablets that you buy, they only go up so high because too much potassium can mess up your heart. Well, this one, how much? 1/4 teaspoon has 540 tablets. There's 500 milligrams of potassium. But the tablets, I think they're 100. So you'd have to take, 640. So you'd have to take 6 tablets just to get the same amount in 1/4 teaspoon. I'm not saying how much you need because I ain't no doctor and I don't know anything about you. But that, where'd my Redmond salt go? You need potassium, sodium. This is the one I use. When you watch videos, you'll hear them say this name a lot. Evidently, this is something that a lot of the carnivore folks like. Redmond's real salt. And then I also I take magnesium. And I take it at bedtime. Usually helps me get some good rest. So we're going to move over here and have us a little conversation. Look out, pupper. You're going to get stepped on. Roar. Yeah. Other supplements. Like I said, I put collagen in my coffee. I've got my medicines right here. I got to take them this morning. That's blood pressure. That's that. So that's my magnesium I take at bedtime. I take vitamin D. I don't know. I live in an area where, who am I kidding? It wouldn't matter where I live. I don't go outside. Don't like the outside. I go outside to get into my van, but I don't go outside. Just don't like it. Don't like it. Never, haven't liked it since I was a little kid. Maybe when I lose weight, I'll like it again. I don't know. I also do take a melatonin. I ran out of calcium because I personally am not doing a lot of dairy. That's more of a personal thing. You can, dairy, I'm trying to strip everything down as minimal as possible to find out what all triggers what in my body. So I'm going to the only dairy I get is a little bit of heavy cream in my coffee in the mornings. I say I'm 99% carnivore because I put flavor in my coffee, and that has some sweetener in it, and you're supposed to stay away from sweeteners when you do carnivore. And then my collagen has sweetener in it, so I just say I'm 99% carnivore. Let's see, what else? How would you start carnivore? Well, you're gonna get so many different opinions. My opinion is you go slowly. You're not gonna go out. I wouldn't walk outside today and run a 5K. I would, I'm not going to be able to go in the gym and lift 500 pounds. When people make changes, in my opinion, when people make changes, you make them slowly. Especially big changes like that. Boy, I got you all way up there. I'm going to get a crick in my neck. Hang on. We're lowering the stand thing. Tripod, that's the word I'm trying to say. Oh, that's normal. Hi. Boy, that light is bright. Goodness gracious. Let me come in a little bit. How you doing? What's new, buddies? My personal recommendation is you slowly just start weaning your vegetables. So if you are breakfast, have bacon, eggs, and a little bit of cheese. That's great. Then lunch, if you're a big salad eater, do less lettuce, less vegetables, and add more meat to it. That glare is getting on my nerves. I don't know if it's getting on your nerves or not, but it's getting on my nerves, so we're moving. I would hate to have to be sitting here watching my channel. I would get on my own nerves. Oh, that's much better. Now, there was just a glare on my phone and it was messing with my head. So there's the cat tree. He doesn't use it much, but it's there for when he wants to get away from his dogs. Anyway, yeah. So my suggestion is slowly start weaning. So, like I said, just your salad, do half the lettuce and half the vegetables and add more meat. Supper time, eat 2 servings of your meat and 1 serving of vegetable. Or if you're making it, and I'm sure it depends on whether you have a big family or not, because, maybe you want to start trying this for yourself, but you don't want to involve your children. Maybe your husband says, I like my meat, my bread and potatoes. Well, okay, you can make the bread and potatoes for them and you just eat the meat part. So I don't think you should have to make more than one meal, because, if you make a pot roast, each pot roast, and just don't put any flour and gravy on your portion. If you have steaks for supper or hamburgers, well, just make you about 2 or 3 hamburgers and don't eat the vegetables, and while your family does. So I eat 2 meals per day, and that's what I cook for. That's what I meal prep for. It's just me, and I am not going to cook every day. Now, I have recently heard that one of the YouTubers that I watch, what they do is they make their steak for the next day or that evening when they're home, and then they eat at work like I do, but then when they get home, they make a steak in the air fryer, and then they'll take that, and that's what they have the next day for their supper. That could work too. For me right now, I don't have an air fryer, and I'm not going to get one right now. May get one in a month, may get one in 6 months. I'm just not out to spend a whole bunch of money right now. My money is going on my food. I'd rather buy some really good steaks than an air fryer, especially when they taste so good when you skillet fry them. So yeah, there's some people that you may air fry a whole bunch of stuff for your family, and that may be what you do. So it's kind of, you got to do what works for you and works for your family. That's kind of the way things are. But for me, like I said, I meal prep on the weekends. So for me, how does that look? Like I said, I eat the 2 meals. So what do I do for breakfast? Well, there's been times where I've done sausage and eggs for breakfast. There's been times where I did sausage, bacon, and eggs for breakfast. Lately, I've just been cooking up the ground beef, and that's been with the liver, and that worked so perfect this week. Because by the time I eat, it's 10 or 11 o'clock, so I'm not still in that morning mindset of, oh, I just need something bland. And really, ground beef is kind of on the bland side if you don't put a ton of salt and seasoning on it. So when I go shopping, I'll say, okay, I want 5 pounds of ground beef, and then and last week I said then I want 1 pound of liver, and I bought calf liver and cow liver. And then I mixed them. You see it in my last video. I'm sorry, y'all. It's that kind of morning. So what I did was I cooked up the ground beef and then kind of cut up the liver into smaller chunks, and I put that in with the ground beef, and that's how it got cooked. So I'm adding liver because it's organ meat, and for me personally, organ meat has some extra things in it that muscle meat does not necessarily have. So, why not? It's not something I can't stand. It's not something that I'm like, ugh. So, and it's not a strong flavor mixed in with my ground beef. I don't know if I could sit and eat a whole pound of it, but 3 ounces over 6 days, I guess 6. Well, a pound is 16. So 16 divided by 6. Anyway, a few ounces. Welcome to my brain. A few ounces over 6 days. That's not, it's not like, so when I shop, like I said, I'm looking for 5 pounds of ground beef and a pound of liver. And then I know all my breakfasts are done. And then I start looking for, okay, is there anything particular on sale? Is pork chops on sale today, or any sales in steaks, any kind of sales? Well, if there's not, then I'm like, okay, well, let's decide. Do we want beef or pork this week? So for pork, I usually buy the family size pork chops, and then I cook them all in the skillet, and then in the end divide it into 5 or 6. I don't remember what I did last week or 2 weeks ago. Or this week, I could say, because this is what's in my freezer that I was going to meal prep for today, but decided not to because I have about 15 things in my little plastic containers in my freezer of food that I made back when I was keto. So probably about 5-6 weeks ago. So I'm like, okay, I am truly having to clean my cabinet, my freezer out. It's not because I'm going out of town, like I told y'all in that one video. I truly need to eat that stuff because I like those containers. I don't want to use them. I don't want to go buy new ones. So, you know, because a lot of times something will make 7 servings. So, so anyway, so okay, so meat or shopping. They say that when you first start out, you know, women, or maybe not first start out, but women a lot of times will eat anywhere from 1 to 2 pounds of meat in a day. Well, since it was my first go around and I wasn't really sure, I said, well, let's go on the top of it because Big Mama here is not going to be hungry and doesn't want to fail. So I made 1 pound for breakfast, and then I think the first time I did steak, so I did 1 pound for my, I don't know. This is really what I consider my breakfast because it's a protein collagen shake, not protein shake, it's a collagen shake. So that's kind of, so I'll say my lunch, which is about 10 or 11, which is the ground beef, and then my supper, which is at 4 o'clock. That's like the steak. So I'll just call them like 3 meals a day. So my supper, I said, okay, I want a pound of steak for my supper. Well, Aldi's is great because they have all those vacuum packed meats, and you can, a lot of them are in the 1 pound range. So you're able to go in and say, okay, well, I know I've got 5, I need at least 5 pounds of steaks. Well, and this way, so I was looking for packages that are 1 pound, and that's what I did. And then I fried them up, and then that's what I took for my suppers. So now I'm looking for, when I go in, some of the packages will be 80 something or 0.8 something something or 0.9 something something, and not quite a full pound. So this last time when I went shopping, that's what I picked up. Because I'm like, well, I'd like to kind of eventually wean myself down to maybe 1.5 pounds, 1 3/4 pounds, whatever it is. So, yeah, so that's when I go shopping, that's what I look for. I look for servings. And when I got that salmon, I'm never doing that again. That was disgusting. I cooked that salmon and the inside was not even done. It was the nastiest thing. I'm done with fish. Done. I do like shrimp, but I don't know what kind of omega-3s they have, so I'm gonna have to do a little research first. But I was eating that salmon. I was like, ugh, this is gross, but I can choke it down. I can choke it down. And then the inside's all pink. Like, looked just like it hadn't even been touched. Like it hadn't cooked at all. And it was in the skillet a good 7-8 minutes. Nope. So, yeah, done with that. So, yeah, no more salmon for this girl. But yeah, so I look for things based on the weight of them. In Carnivore, you're going to hear various things. You do count your calories. You don't count your calories. You do count your fat. You don't count it. You're going to hear so many different things. Right now, I'm just looking at my weights of the food. That's what I'm doing. I think I plugged it in the other day when it was, I think it was ground beef with liver, and then I don't know if I did steak or what, but it was like 2,400 calories. So, well, it's not horrible. So, especially at my size. But, you know, again, I'm still managed to be down 30 pounds. So, you know, I've lost 4 more since going carnivore. So, evidently, whatever it is, it's not a bad thing. What else? So, like I said, so when you're starting, I would wean. You don't need a lot of stuff. Pick up some good salt, some good potassium, pick up some, sorry, I'm thinking, some magnesium. And you may not even need the magnesium. If you don't have a bunch of leg cramps, you may not need it. Like I said, I don't go out in the sun, so vitamin D is good for me. I gotta re-pick up some more calcium. Heartburn has gone almost to nothing. As a big person, I have heartburn a lot, or had heartburn a lot. I would take Pepsid, 2 tablets every day. And I've been able to wean off that. I've weaned off several different things. I've decided to cut back on my Zyrtec and my Singulair. I'm just, of course, you can hear me sniffing and snotting. I'd kind of like to just strip to the bare bones, which right now I'll definitely will always take my blood pressure medicine. I am on a diuretic because I have an ankle or a left leg that has a lot of varicose veins, and it holds on to water if I have a little too much salt, or just one little kernel of salt, and it'll hold on to water. So I will continue to take those, and collagen. Collagen you can get at Walmart. You can get anywhere, I'm sure. I know I almost ordered it from Walmart, but then I went for a different brand. No reason other than the flavor. I wanted to try it. It's salted caramel. So there again, that's that 1% that's not carnivore. I cheated this week. I had a meeting on Thursday. I was out of town. We drove up to Jeff City, went to this meeting. They served, what's that place? Chipotle. We don't have one of those here. But instead of chips and tortillas, I put lettuce in the bottom. So, but I loaded on the salsa, and I loaded on the sour cream, and I loaded on the guacamole. So that all was definitely more. The sour cream wouldn't have been too shabby. Guacamole, yeah, it's just avocado maybe mixed with a little something, so it wouldn't have been too bad. But when you do a big old plop, not a dollop, a plop, about 2 plops, that's a little bit much. And I have PCOS, and my body has decided that it's going to override a medication that I had a cyst 2 years ago, and it was 7 centimeters, and the doctor put me on a medication to stop my cycles, because he wanted the eggs to stop growing. So that was great, did fabulous. So goodbye, Mother Nature. Well, while I was up there at the meeting, hello, it's Aunt Flo. I've come to return. She came back with vengeance. And I can't say for sure, but I think that it's the fact that I have not been eating high sugary foods. So my own natural hormones are overriding the pill that the doctor put me on. So, so this is going to be interesting, because it's my first cycle in 2 years, and my first cycle while I'm on, while I've been keto / and now carnivore. So next month will be interesting. I used to share an office with somebody, another female, and we got to where we were kind of on sync. And then this doctor put me on the medication, and all that went away. So now I'm in the office by myself, so it'll be interesting to see how things regulate themselves. Sleep. My sleep has been really good since I've been carnivore until not just last night. Come to think of it, it was Wednesday night, Thursday night, and then last night was Friday night. And So when I was younger, a lot younger, like I guess in my 30s, I don't know. I'm 47, so that was 17 years ago. In my 30s, I remember like before Mother Nature would come and visit, I would be awake at night and my brain would just talk about nothing. Nothing. It was almost as if I had caffeine right before I went to bed, but I hadn't. And that's how my brain would react a day, 2, 3 before my visitor came. And that happened Thursday night or Wednesday night, because then we had to make the drive to Jeff City at 5 o'clock in the morning. And then then Thursday night when I got back, and my brain was like, oh, it's probably because I'm just so tired that that's what's going on. And then last night I flipped and flopped and wallered all over that bed. I just couldn't sleep, but my brain was like, dogs, beef, pork, let's buy a whole cow or a whole pig and put that in our freezer. Dogs. So I mean, it was just all night long. So and so I had flashbacks to when I was younger, and yeah, so that's kind of how my cycle used to be. But I've had PCOS since I was young. Had metabolic syndrome, metabolic issues ever since I was young. Once puberty hit in 5th grade, like the summer between 5th and 6th grade, it's like I hit a brick wall. I was hyper and active and played and ran and went outside and skated around the neighborhood. I went up and down my neighborhood, knew every kid, knew every old person. Didn't matter. I'd knock on their door and talk to them. But then summer between 5th and 6th grade, when I started, that was it. I stayed at home. I gained weight, you know, and so I've been big ever since then. I have lost weight several times, lost weight on Weight Watchers, lost weight on Nutrisystem, and lost a lot of weight. I was always hungry, but unlike this one where I'm not hungry, although last night, my stomach growled for the first time in a long time, let me tell you. And my little Baxter, I say little, it's only because he's like a little over a year. He's not little. He was on my lap and he was napping, and his little head, he heard my stomach growl, and he's like, brr, looked up at me like, what was that? And I was just laughing because it's like I don't think any of them have ever heard my stomach growl. I haven't heard it in a long time. I don't let it get to that point very often. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of changes that occur with this way of eating. You know, like I said, I was sleeping really good. My insides feel better. My brain feels more clear. One thing I don't really know about is you can't see this redness. Here, I'll even do this. A lot of redness right here, here, and here. And then in the evening time, not evening, but I don't know, about 4, 5, 6 months ago, like even in the summer, before I was doing keto, I'd get kind of flushed in the later part of the day at work, like 3 o'clock. And I didn't really know what it was, but I'm kind of wondering if it's hormones and me kind of going through the change process. I don't really know. I was on that a medication for me to not have the periods. So I don't know, how that would affect my my periods and going through the change. But it was Monday and Tuesday at work, I think Monday and Tuesday, at about 1 or 2, I felt my face felt flushed and my head felt warm, but from here down, I was still cool, like I was under a blanket at work, but from here up, I was warm. I didn't have that, feel like I was going to burn up, and I didn't feel like I needed to stick my face in the freezer or anything, like they talk about hot flashes, but so I don't know if if this redness has something to do with hormones. It used to come and go, and I've stopped wearing makeup for a little bit at work just to kind of give my face a break. Hey, that is unnecessary. Somebody had a bone and didn't want somebody to have it. Good thing is they never make contact with their mouth. It's just more, more yelling at each other. Did you get yelled at, buddy? I know. This one's Baxter. Let's see, where you at, bud? Baxter, hey, come here. That one. He's the one I call my little buddy, but he's not little. And then there's Sammy. He's the love of my life. Sorry, everybody else knows it. All the dogs know it. But he's such a lover. Sammy's a lover. He's like Pepe Le Pew. If you were to come visit, he would be like, oh, I'm going to kiss you. And then you'll be trying to get away, and he'll be like Pepe Le Pew. And then Big Sis in there, she's the boss, so she's the one that was just fussing. Anyway, so I'm interested in seeing, as I've stopped that pill that stopped my periods, and as I continue on the carnivore journey, I'm curious to see what happens with my face. So many people have talked about how great their complexion is now versus before, and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm very interested in seeing how that goes. Trying to think what else. Like I said, I don't have heartburn anymore. I wish if I could read my phone, I could tell you what all medicines I stopped. I have stopped my allergy medicine just for a little while. I want to kind of, like I said, take it down to the bare bones and see what's going on, see how they are. When I took the test, the only thing I'm allergic to is dust mites and latex. Well, there's a lot of dust in my house, so that probably, isn't so great. But like I said, I just want to kind of see how life is, getting that off there. What else did I stop? I don't remember. Anyway, so there's a lot of things that I stopped, or several things that I stopped medication-wise, just to kind of get down to basics and see what's going on with me. I won't, and I did not stop my blood pressure medicine, and I did not stop my diuretic. So I will keep track of those. Oh, and that's something else. When my face was flushed, I thought, well, maybe my blood pressure's up. But it wasn't. It was 128/76 or something like that. Another time it was 130/82 or 84. So, I mean, it wasn't that my blood pressure was up. So that's what made me decide that maybe this redness is hormonal, and maybe, because it's not like a rash. It's like, it's like pigment. It's a pigment thing. So anyway, I think I said this already, but I'll say it again. To recap, if you have never done carnivore and you're not doing keto right now, if I were to start carnivore like from scratch, I would slowly start weaning off vegetables. Let it take 2-3 weeks, because that keto flu, carnivore flu, that's no fun. Nobody wants to be sick like that. Because I think they say it comes in week 2, and when you're starting something new, it's kind of like when you go to the gym your first time and you overdo, and you're sore the next day, and then you're like, God, why am I doing this? I don't even want to go back. So don't put yourself through that. Just one day at a time, slowly wean yourself over about 2-week period. I would say, again, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not telling you nothing to do, but if I were to start over again, that's what I would do. And again, I'd salt my meat and potassium my meat, and I take that and continue with and do the magnesium thing. Don't go buy any special cooking devices. If you do need to buy a skillet, there's all kinds of secondhand stores that are going to have skillets. So go there. Like if you just bought an apartment, don't go buy, a set of Rachel Ray cookware or something. Oh, you will need, I forgot, if you're a bacon person, you will need some pans to cook your stuff in, to cook your bacon in. I guess that's really it. That's the cooking utensils. So that's what you'd need to get started. And like I said, some good salt, potassium, and magnesium for, even if you don't need it, it's kind of nice to have it just in case. Because if you wake up in the middle of the night and have a Charlie horse, you're going to be like, I'm not going to Walmart, out to get some magnesium, out, you know. So good to have a little bit on hand. I personally take the 450 milligram magnesium at bedtime. So yeah, that's what you need. And again, you know, if you're a big gal and you're starting, you know, and you're getting to the meat part, you're just eating the meat part, what are you going to eat? Ground beef is definitely cheaper than steaks and chops. So get you some ground beef for your lunches, and if you choose to add organ meat, you know, put some liver in there, then whatever is going to best suit you for your suppers. You know, shoot, some people eat ground beef, or they make, you know, you can make hamburger patties, of course, but I'm making them out for 5 days, and it's just easier. I'm lazy. I am a lazy person and a lazy cook. So for me, I just do it in the crushed up form. But if you have family, you know, do those hamburgers. And it's good to even have some hamburgers available, ready to be cooked, because if you're home and you know, in the beginning, and you're starting to have some cravings, grab a hamburger out of there, refrigerator, freezer, wherever you have it. You can even cook a couple extra. But always have some kind of meat available for you to eat in an instant. You know, so rotate it out. But yeah, I always have ground beef, because if I all of a sudden get hungry and I'm just like, I got to eat something, or I'm going to, you know, chew my dog's arm off, well, then, you know, I can go right over to that refrigerator and get something out. So you can have some, you know, cooked hamburger patties that you keep frozen, that are already cooked, and you can just grab it out and nuke it, whatever you want to do. But that would be my suggestion. Make sure you always have something ready that you can eat. If you do like chicken, that might be a good thing. Use it, have some chicken around. But again, I don't eat chicken for my meals because it does not stay with you. I get hungry after an hour or two. And with the steak, I'm eating it at 4 and not eating again until the next morning at 7 o'clock. Because that's how I eat. Now, you may want to eat with your family and eat at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. But that's just me because of my PCOS and insulin resistance and wanting to give my pancreas a break. So those are some things that I would say for if somebody's just starting out. What do you do? What do you think about? How do you do it? Do you jump in with both feet? Do you stick one toe in at a time? That's my personal opinion. And I take my lunch and supper with me to work every day. I eat them at work, and then I come home and feed the dogs and do my thing in the evening, and that's it. So, yeah, that's everything for me and how I would start if I was to start over, even though I did start with keto. So I hit the big 3.0 pound loss last Sunday morning. I'm really not sure what it's going to be tomorrow morning because of Mother Nature being here, and then having that excess stuff that I shouldn't have eaten on Thursday, well, day before yesterday. So that's it. That's what I know. And now you are in, my glasses are crooked. Look at that. Let's see. Look. Well, that makes everything kind of, Anyway, yeah. So now you're in the know. You are in the loop, and have a great day. And is there anything else? Nope, I guess not. All right. Thanks for watching. feel free to click the like button and to subscribe, and you'll get more information, and you'll get notified. If you hit subscribe and touch that little bell thing down there, you can decide how you want to be notified or how often or whatever. That's kind of new for me. I didn't know if you touch the bell, it actually will, you can either have notifications off or you can have them on, or you can, there's something else that you can select. So anyway, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, so click like and subscribe if you want to know anything, and follow me. And like I said, I started this YouTube channel, or I've continued it on this second go around, because everybody who I see now are people who have finished their journey, and I haven't found anybody who's like at the beginning and middle of their journey. So I have I started 337. My goal is around 150, so that's 180 some odd pounds, and I'm down 30 of them. So now it's 8,765, so 150 some odd left to go. So we're gonna see if this takes 2 years, 10 years, however long it takes. We're on this journey, and that's what's what. All right, have a good day. Bye.